Having a flexible schedule can sometimes be a double-edged sword because if you're not organized in your time and how you want to spend it, sometimes it could all get jumbled up and just be a complete mess. So that is why I decided to pivot towards having a Google Calendar that works for me. So when I started my business full-time, I knew that I needed a calendar that kept me organized and accountable. I was looking everywhere on the internet to find the perfect system to maximize my Google Calendar to its fullest. And I finally found one that worked for me, and her name is Jules Acree. I decided to go with her method of doing the Google Calendar, but putting my own little spin on it. So I wanted to show you how I organize my Google Calendar as a service provider and not necessarily just a content creator like Jules. So this is a tried and true method that obviously can work for a whole bunch of different industries. And so without further ado, let's get into it. So here we are on my Google Calendar. I put a past week just to give you a good idea. I'm gonna move. So this was my week of November 1st, and this is what my calendar looks like most days. So here we have all of my beautiful, sort of like lovely color-coded aspects. So in green, I have all of my meetings. I usually don't have as many meetings. I have some update meetings with my clients, and I have meetings with my coach every 2 weeks. So those are pretty much the only meetings that I have. So it's not all spread out throughout the week. My discovery calls, I put them on Calendly on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So most of the time, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays is when I have my meetings. So the other days I can really focus on what I have to do for the day. And it also just helps me, kind of like Jules, to kind of see like, okay, which ones do I actually need to dress up for? So in green are my meetings. I have orange, which is all of my admin stuff. So anything like financials, emails, all of that related. I have one calendar for me and my partner Colton, so anything that he has throughout the week that I need to know of, or anything that I have throughout the week that I need to know of, or something that we're doing together like date nights and all of those things, we have a calendar that we share, and that one is in blue. I have birthdays, business creation, client work, really important deadlines, personal, and self-care. So all of these color-coded calendars separately really helps me figure out what days are for my clients, what days are for me. When I first started, I kind of did a little bit the same thing as Jules were having. I had like specific days for client work and specific days for me. It turned out that it didn't necessarily work for me because some clients have different needs and they need things at different times. So I found out that having client work scattered throughout the week was better than having certain days, just because I can manage my time a little bit better and make my clients happy. So that's why you kind of see here I had Thursdays and Fridays creation days were for me, and then I had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays for my clients. But now I kind of just put it on days where it works for me. So as you can see here, I have in my client work, I just put client work, and then inside the meeting, I'll sometimes put the different tasks that I'll do. And right here, I just put the name client work, but sometimes I'll put specific clients within those time blocks. So I'll put client A in the 10 to 12 time block, and then I'll put client B from 1 to 3 or something, and then client C from 3 to 4, just so that even though I might be task switching from one task to another, I won't be task switching from one client to another, just because it'll kind of get me out of the groove of working on that specific client's task. So I usually won't go from one client to another. I'll just go in different time blocks for certain clients. So on this week in particular, I had some lovely time to like plan out some content, film some videos, and do a really fun co-working day, which was something that I got to meet other creators and other like entrepreneurs, and we worked at a studio. I wasn't sure if I wasn't able to do like client work that day, so I kind of just put it as business creation, and yeah, so I kind of just wrote that off and not put client work, but it turned out that we were actually pretty productive. And I was able to do some client work, so that's really good there. Some tasks you'll have a really good idea of how long things take, but you never know whether you'll have tech issues or whether you'll have like a creative block and then something takes a little bit longer than you've expected. You've already planned for it, and that has significantly reduced my stress levels because I know where everything goes, I know where everything is, and everything can be moved around except for my YouTube schedule. I'll always schedule a YouTube video on Thursdays, and I have put that limit on myself. I won't like move things around. Otherwise, I don't think I'll be able to stick to it. So just the YouTube video is always on Thursday mornings, and everything else can kind of be moved around because I'm still trying to figure out what works best for me, especially with my client work has been like fluctuating throughout the weeks. I have, new clients coming in, or I have more hours with a already existing client. I can move things around accordingly. So this is something that I'll be able to, move around and work on for a long time to come, but this is something that has definitely worked for me. As you can see here, I have a weekly meeting with my partner. This is something that I wanted to shout out as well. But I have a weekly meeting with Colton, and we talk about any like pending things that we have in our like day-to-day lives, whether it's like tasks that we have to do, some chores, some life admin sort of things. And we have a weekly meeting on Sundays, and then at the end of the month we also tag onto that a finance meeting, just so that we can take a look at if our finances are on track, our financial goals, kind of seeing what we want to pay for, what we want to work on, whether it's like a vacation, a house, anything like that. We talk about it like at the end of the month, seeing how things are going. And it's also really good for me because as well, like my finances also fluctuate, from being a business owner and whatnot. And it just comes with the job. So it's always good for me to take a look at like what I've done and what I can afford and kind of work together on different things like that. So that is something that we try to keep as well every Sunday. So that is kind of an overview of what my calendar looks like. It is pretty similar to Jules, but also kind of different. She has shown me that you can, in fact, start your week on a Monday. I know that sounds ridiculously stupid, but I didn't know that you can do that on Google Calendar. And just having the week start on Monday instead of Sunday has helped me out a lot, actually. So I can kind of see my weekend smushed together at the end right here, which is really great. And that is something that you can go into your settings and change. Also, as a reminder too, this is also linked to my Calendly, so my scheduling calendar that I have on my website. On my Calendly, I have like a setting where anything that either has the green or the beige right here is blocked off for any discovery calls, but any other like spot that I have, such as like client work, I know that I can move that around. That is open for people to book me for discovery calls. So it's really just the green and beige that I blocked off. Let's say I have an appointment, I can't take a discovery call, I'll block it off with beige, and that'll also translate onto my Calendly so that I don't have any mishaps and, someone schedules me in for a discovery call and I'm not actually available. So also keep that in mind if you are a service provider and you're, have discovery calls. Just set up your Calendly accordingly so that anytime you put something on your Google Calendar, it'll translate over to your Calendly or any other, scheduling software that you use. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!